You know they got that same name, but different point of views. Whichever one you choose, you can't lose. They got that same name, different point of views. Whichever one you choose, you can't lose. Keisha and Keisha,
knowledge, wisdom, and discernment. Keisha, you don't got it, you can get some if you heard them.
Keisha and Keisha, man.
Knowledge, wisdom, and discernment.
Keisha
you don't
and
got
Keisha,
it, you
man.
can get some if you heard them. We gon' laugh, have a good time. Just sit back and elevate your mind.
Welcome back. It's Keisha and Keisha, episode 5.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Y'all ready for us?
Well, if they not, they might as well get ready.
Are they missing us? I think they missing us, Keisha.
Wait, what time is it? It might be 9.
9:30. What are y'all doing between 9 and 9:30? That's the recap.
Girl, I don't know nothing about 9:30. I need like a 10:45. No. Well, see, my kid is in college, so
it don't 9 to 9:30. You old.
Well, that's what. Shut up.
Old people go to bed at 9 to 9:30. Okay.
What? Listen now. When you got little kids, I get it. You put them to bed, and everybody wind down, take a little shower, do what you got to do, make things happen.
What about if you don't have little kids? Because I go to bed at 7 p.m.
Well, then you better swallow early.
My throat is a little dry. 20 seconds versus 20 minutes.
Oh, God, we moving on.
We moved on, but we want to say, we want to thank everybody for their input.
Yes.
We want to have the discussions with you, but we really think you need to have this discussion with your partner.
That's true. That's true. And that's what we hope we open it up. More discussions with families, because we all about keeping the family and relationships together, because them side chicks can kick rocks with flip-flops. And so...
and them cheating husbands.
Oh, yes.
Take us flying leap.
Yes. You know, I was watching this thing with... from years ago, Oprah had did this interview with, what's his name, LL Cool J and his wife. And his wife said that, she goes, well, how did you guys stay together for 20-something years? And she says, you know what, as much as he's the ladies' man, you know, because LL, you know, and he says, ladies love me. She says, but he's always been a strong family man. And that's the thing that she's really appreciated, that even if he has done some stuff. She said, and when, you know, you young, you go through some stuff or whatever. She says, but I've never felt like he didn't want his family or to be with his family. So that was good. I mean, they really, you know, very inspirational.
Moving on.
Oh, dang. Okay. Well, somebody who clearly don't believe in family is that dang on Bill Cosby.
Oh, what? Listen, the worst part about this is, yes, he's a serial rapist, but you a cheating husband.
Yeah.
He one of them.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you this. At 80 and Camille is 74, she going to ride it till the wheels fall off. And that's exactly what she did. Now, she didn't say nothing all this time. And she came out with a statement after the ruling and said basically that it was mob justice instead of real justice. And she says these women were lying and her husband didn't do anything. And she actually compared them to Emmett Till and Daryl Hunt from North Carolina, who in, I think it was like 1984 or something, they convicted him of raping and murdering a white woman. And I'm like, how, Emmett Till, really? This woman said, I mean, come on, this woman. And then the woman came back and said she lied and it didn't happen. I guess that's how she's making a connection. But come on, Camille.
Camille, get your head examined. Do you need an MRI? Because something is clearly wrong with you. If you think your husband got mob justice after he said that he gave women quaaludes to have sex with them, and he was still your husband at the time. Girl, please, bye.
Now, Camille cute now, and I love her little gray-haired,
little shortcut. But
and girl, she classy and probably come from that old school where you just did, you know, you turn the other cheek. But don't come out now saying something, Camille, because I promise you, Bill, come on. Like you said, and I really respect you for that comment. When you said basically if he's done it to one, it don't matter if 20 of them come forth and 20 of them are lying. If it was one, that's one too many. You're right.
Rape is rape, and there's nothing more disgusting than this power thing. Mm-hmm. The woman doesn't have control of her own body.
Right.
So that's, I mean.
Now, I do want to go back, because last week we talked about, in my educational piece, about Will and Jada and how they're raising their children. And I was talking about your parenting styles. And I just cleared it up. It wasn't that I did not agree with you when you said that, you know, everybody has their own parenting styles. And because their children are not doing all this horrible things in the community or whatever. They raised pretty good. I get that. But your parenting style, and that's why you became a parent. These kids, just like when they were born, you didn't tell them, hey, go in the refrigerator and get your own milk, or hey, change your own pamper. There were certain things you had to do for them at certain ages, and that doesn't stop until you can turn them over as, to their young adults. So in that same manner, when they get to the age where they can start making choices and decisions for themselves, you allow them the autonomy and the freedom to do that, but at the same time, you need to guide them. That's what it's for. Because when I think about my job as a teacher, I'm constantly doing that. So I'm here working with parents. Okay, keeping them serious. I'm working with parents to actually help them, shake their kids and get them in the right direction. And it's got to be teamwork. I can't do my part at the schoolhouse and then you're not doing your part at home, and vice versa. You can't be doing your part at home and then I'm not doing my part at the schoolhouse, because then it's a breakdown and the person who suffers are the children.
Well, and my thing was their kids aren't suffering. You might not agree with their ideology.
Now, we don't know that.
No, but we don't know that. But we don't know that they're suffering, is what I'm saying. We don't know. As far as what
his
we
dad
know,
said that.
his
I'm
dad
not talking
said
about
he's suffering.
Yeah, he talked about how his lack of parenting with him has caused Jaden to make these decisions and do stuff he's doing. I'm not saying.
What is he doing?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I think he's kind of wilding out on social media a little bit, and because they gave him so much freedom to just, I guess, free of expression and to kind of, how Will and Jada talk. Mm-hmm. He was just saying that he could have guided him better, because the bottom line is he's still in an industry that is super ruthless, and when you don't at least advise your kids and into, hey, this is how this is going to be, blah 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 blah, whatever the case may be, you can't do it after the fact.
Well, these are our kids. No matter how you guide them, kids still make their own decisions.
Absolutely.
And then we're talking about social media, which you find out your kids are always doing stuff on social media that you're like, wait a minute, that's a little different than what I taught them. Or, and I got to commend him for doubting that, because any good parent always feel like they could do better. The people who think they doing the best are usually the ones who are the worst.
Now listen, and I agree with that.
You always doubt your skills.
Right.
As a parent, you always feel like, I could have did this more. I could have did that. I do that all the time, and people are like, you're a great parent. But if you're a good parent, you always feel like you could do more.
Listen, and a friend of ours said recently how, I always say you can't just pour water on children and expect them to grow. And the bottom line is you can't. And that's in every area. And I know, like, for example, my sister-in-law, when all of our children were babies, she was all, because I wasn't that baby mama. Like, I did everything I need to do for my kid, but my niche is when they get to high school and do that. So we kind of just tag team things. Because everybody got their areas where you feel a little more comfortable in doing that. But
all right, Will and Jada, Will, you're doubting your parenting skills. I'm saying you're doing a great job.
Okay. All right.
I got an error to correct from last week. I said the shooting at the church was in North Carolina. It was in South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, sometimes I get stuff mixed up. Only sometimes.
Whatever. All right, let's move on. What you know, no good.
What you know, no good. What?
Okay, so Time's Up. Time's Up is a movement by women to say...
Women of color.
Yeah, well, they have a women of color committee, so there are women. But on that women of color committee, we have some very, distinguished
Ava
women.
DuVernay.
Yeah.
Shonda Rhimes. Mm-hmm. Journey Smoke Bill.
Yep, and then
Smollett,
yeah. And these women are their powerful voices. Think of Shonda. I mean, Shonda and Ava, they've done some amazing film, and so they've got behind this movement, and they're just saying, as women of color, we need to start standing up for our black girls. We do.
You're a black girl.
Girl, am I?
I'm a black girl.
What?
Can y'all stand up for us?
I had on my Black Girl Magic shirt the other day, baby. Don't try it.
That magic.
But anyway, so this Time's Up movement has now, they took Bill down, and he, got his day in court, and now they want your boy.
Who boy?
Well, everybody, R. Kelly.
Mute R. Kelly.
Mute R. Kelly. They saying they want to go to RCA, Apple, Spotify, everybody, and just like, hey, shut him down, shut him up. And he is lashing back. He's pissed.
A hit dog with what? Holla.
Well, he said that he has not done anything wrong. Now, over the years, there has always been allegations. And like you said, the movement is now. So if these women start to speak up, they might be like your girl Stormy and might have some type of clause or something or been paid off or,
Yeah.
he
Well,
got
and then I think what we found out, even with the Duggars that were on TLC when they came out about their brother molesting them, is that we have this culture of
that
silence.
was so sad.
Yeah, it's this culture of silence of people not speaking out. So I think that
Because it's a male-dominated
yeah,
society.
and you get the women get hit the hardest
Oh,
when
heck
you
yeah.
speak out, especially about
'Cause
an
we're seen as-
entertainer, a respectable
Right.
entertainer. So let me say this to R. Kelly: we're not going to be silent. If you're doing something wrong, you might want to clean it up now because nobody's going to be silent and nobody's going to cover your tail.
Well, there you have it right there. So, you better get it together and hopefully Buff and Grind made you enough money, baby. And 12 play, because you're going to need something.
Time is up.
Now, wait a minute. So, I do have to give a shout out to my girl this week. She is my shero of the week. And
Stormy
that
Daniels.
is, girl, shut up. Everybody trying to hear you and Stormy Daniels.
Stormy is the girl, whatever.
No, I am talking about Michelle Wolf. And
All
her
right,
speech at the
Michelle.
state dinner. I loved
The
it,
White
girl.
House correspondent.
She had the women clutching their pearls and them dudes shaking their heads
it
and
was
not knowing.
good. It was a good
Yeah.
roasting. It
Yeah.
wasn't even bad. It was truthful.
You know what? Another thing that just really got me as we talk about the women's movement. He was saying how she was talking about Pence and how he's 100% pro-choice, right? And she was saying how he's like all his other little colleagues where they all saying they're pro-choice and against abortion until they got to get an abortion for their mistress. Girl, I like to
They want
fell
to have
out.
them babies.
I
Abortion
like
for everybody but the woman who says she pregnant by me.
Right, that is just crazy. But I
Yes.
loved her, and I hate that she got the backlash that she did. And she was just like, maybe y'all the vet who y'all bring up in here. But you know what? Nothing that she said was false. None of the things that she said or did had anything to do with just stuff that wasn't going on. She wasn't, she was just telling it like it is and putting it in your face. Like, she talked about your girl.
Oh, she talked about our girl, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She said, "Cover it up, girl. Maybe she's born with it, or maybe it's lies."
Right.
It was lies.
Right, she said she'd take her lies and burn them and use it as a smoky eye. And you know what?
Yes.
She
What's
needs
wrong
to
with that?
smile a little bit more because she looks so
And she's 35.
35.
Good. Look, girl, what?
Oh, my
Keisha.
Lord, baby.
Black don't crack. This right here is a mess.
That is a mess.
I mean, I think the lies make her look older.
Well,
Maybe she tell the truth, she'll lose 10
maybe,
years.
maybe she didn't hang out with
And then
Stormy.
Hey,
She get paid
Stormy look
and
good.
look.
Stormy look good compared to Sarah
so-
Huckabee Sanders.
Why your boy trying to turn on his counsel already, his lawyer already, talking about he don't know. They've been friends for 30, 40 years. He just did not expect Giuliani to get on TV and say all that he said. But you know what? These old white men, they all getting a little senile and crazy. And I promise you, all of it's going to come out.
Well, like Giuliani is not a fan of mine. I don't care for him. But I got a feeling that he might have a problem with your boy Donald, because they was talking the other day about he wanted to be the Attorney General, and Donald didn't pick him.
Huh. So maybe he kind of just decided to
So
get close
he-
enough to him to be the attorney so he can flip on him?
Or he's
Why?
throwing him under the bus right now.
That's what I meant.
Going on TV and now talking about how he knew about Stormy Daniels.
Wow.
But it doesn't matter because
Nope.
Donald said he knew about Stormy.
Okay, well, let's talk about Tennessee. You put down here Tennessee Community College. What's going on with them?
Free for all adults. Hey, what's up with that? We
Is it
like
passed?
that.
Is it
yes,
like,
it's
okay.
passed.
So community colleges allow all adults to go
If
for
you
free.
wanna
So
go-
when you say adult, so if I'm 18,
That's an adult.
wow,
It's free for all adults.
and get an associate's degree for free
Hey, that's better than getting a gun.
in that community. No, girl,
I'm
I
saying
love
18, you can get a gun, but you can't vote.
that. Right, you need to get
And you can't drink.
education.
Well, you can vote.
Yeah,
You can't
vote.
drink
Right,
alcohol.
Right.
Okay.
I'm
I
sorry,
messed
it'll
it
be
up.
okay. Gee. All right, so this armored truck was rolling down the highway and was spilling money out. And look, and listen, girl, so the patrolman said, "We won't ask any questions. We just want you to bring the money back, and it won't be any repercussions against you." Are you serious? The repercussions against me? You come and prove this $20 don't belong to me. What did you do? I mean, it was over $600,000, Keisha. if it was in the middle of the night and you just happened to roll by, I can see you out there right now.
Throw me something, mister. I'm Mardi Gras era. I know how to pick up stuff off the ground quick and throw it in the bag. I had a good 100,000. And you think I'm bringing it back? What?
No, yeah, he talking about, and then he tried to make it seem like we won't press charges. First, catch me, dude.
First of all, I ain't did nothing wrong.
I ain't did nothing wrong. I did not go steal it.
I did not steal it. So what are you talking about?
Well,
that's your fault.
But are you stealing that?
No, it's money laying on the ground. Finders, keepers, losers, sweepers.
Yeah, they say possession is 9 tenths of the law. And somebody else's error. That was someone's error. He didn't close the back of that truck like he was supposed to.
There you go. Stop hiring incompetent ass people, Donald Trump.
Ooh, okay. Well, I don't know if he owns the Brink Company though.
No, I'm just saying he like.
I need you to stop talking about that man. It gets on my last nerve.
He's the president. I'm sorry. This is part of our government. I can't stop talking about him.
All right.
Let him resign. Then I'll shut the hell up.
Now, start the solution there. They did not disclose what solution they came up with. The two black men who had got
23-year-olds
in Philadelphia. But Philly paid them $1. And then they're going to allow them to have a say in the $200,000 that they're investing in high school entrepreneur program.
Okay, great.
Really? What did you want to happen?
Nothing.
Oh. Okay. I mean, for you to be all, you always on the Black Power move, and I just thought that this might have been an opportunity for you to just kind of, if it ain't nothing bad, see, you be jumping on all the bad stuff, and you don't got something to say, and that's something good. Well, then get glad about this then, because you real quick will be all jumping on my back.
I'm in a catch-22.
Why?
Because for these brothers, I know they want to take $1 and all this. I just feel like they had some bad counsel.
What do you mean?
I feel like they could have gotten more and did
more of what? Like, what are you saying?
Because this was the opportunity to actually get more money from them and to do more with it.
Oh.
I mean, but that's my thinking. I mean, that's me.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think they left the focus where it needed to be.
But I'm not being negative. I just said okay.
But you sure be yelling and screaming on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to create a balance.
This right here, this is great. That's the balance. I said okay.
Right. Okay. Well, did you hear about old Cambridge Analytical?
No, tell me about it.
Girl, they closed the doors, baby. Yeah. Facebook shut them down. People between their lawsuits and a lot of their clients pulling out and stuff, they couldn't keep going.
Well, bye. Bye, Felicia.
Well, you know what? And I think that it does not matter. We're good. It doesn't matter if it was Facebook or Instagram or whatever avenue that you use. I know people try to safeguard their identity all the time. But the bottom line is, it'll get out there. You got a digital footprint, and your information going to get out there regardless.
But you can control the narrative. And we were talking about this. You don't have to tell every damn thing on Facebook. You can control what you put on Facebook. The things you can't control, like if you walk into a bank, they got your picture, they know you there.
Right.
But you don't have to tell people what you ate, which side of your ass you wiped today, and what school your kids go to.
I'll do that for you.
No, you don't have to tell everything. You can stop with that.
Well, and I think, and that's been the whole thing with me. Like, I just feel like sometimes the stuff that you do share, you're right. I don't know. Some people, and I will tell you this, when I moved to the South, for you guys to say that you are the most hospitable people ever, y'all can be, no, baby. Like, when I grew up, you stop by a person's house, you like, hey, what's up, what's going on? Jump in. If they cook a dinner, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You play some cards, hang out with them, whatever. You got to call. People be looking at you crazy if you just pop by. Make you feel uncomfortable.
Like
yeah.
I don't like it because I grew up with a house full of people.
What you mean? But I mean,
I'm saying I grew up like that. It's always somebody there, so I kind of like my private time and by myself. I like it.
I just think
a lot of people don't like it, but I grew up with it was always a card game. It was always people.
Yeah, and it was like that for us too.
Always. No, I'm just saying.
I come from a big family as well. Yeah. But my mom's side or whatever, and
my
all
mom
my
is one of
stuff.
17. Come on, girl, this is crazy.
I know,
big. It's crazy big. I'm just saying
that Southern hospitality has its limits. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
Let's talk about old Kanye.
You say Kanye.
Girl, Kanye.
That's a damn coon.
Oh, why he a coon, Keisha?
Girl, y'all kicked him out of Chicago yet?
No, I don't know if they kicked him out yet.
Y'all kicked him out.
Kick him out, evict him. He got to go.
He got to get.
Well, I will tell you this. Between him and his girl, Miss Owens, I was so disappointed in that TMZ interview. It was so bad. I mean, she got to the, before we start talking about
Yeah,
Kanye,
go ahead,
she got
tell
to the
us about
point
this one.
where she was saying that her great grandfather, who was a sharecropper, was better off than her dad and granddad because for her dad and granddad, they got tricked to be a part of a system that sucked them in so that they could not get ahead. And I was like, well, what the hell do you think?
It's a sharecropper.
Yeah, like
Does
she
she
is.
know what sharecropper mean? It
Oh my
means
God.
slave.
Then she went on to
A
say
new
that
word for slave.
for we all up in uproar about these men that are being killed by the police, and that's only 0.006% of the population, and blah 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 blah. One is too many, especially when a person loses a life and
Unarmed. Let's
Yeah.
be clear. Unarmed.
And then she went on to say that there are more blacks that are killing police. That percentage is 18%. So the police should be the ones that are afraid. I mean, like, I was like, where's her mama, her grandmama, her auntie that sit down? You know that auntie that they grab you up
Where
real
is
quick?
Keisha and Keisha so we can slap the hell out of this
I would
heifer?
love for her to come on our show. I
Oh.
would love that.
What you gonna hold me back?
Maybe I'll reach out to her. Should we reach
Don't.
out to her?
No.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. Okay.
You want this to be Maury Povich or Jerry Springer? Then bring our ass on here. Okay. Other than that, if you
We
want to
can
keep
get
it
her down there.
classy, keep our ass on TMZ. All right.
We can get her down there.
Nah, we don't even want to dial this heifer in. Because let me say this, and then she said something about black on black crime.
Mm-hmm.
This is the problem. Black people, stop using this term. It's a white people coined term because every race have crime within itself.
Well,
So
if you
stop
live
it.
in a community where
Yes.
100% of it is black, then of course.
And if you live in a community that is white.
Of
if
course,
you live
exactly.
in India, they said we have an Indian on Indian crime. In Asia and China, it's China on China crime. Chinaman on Chinaman.
Like, that's one of those statistics that, yeah.
This was coined by racist white people to tell us that we're killing each other. And let me be clear, you're going to have conflict within your own race. So there will be black people who
Hell,
kill
there's
black
conflict
people
within your own
in
family.
every race, in
Don't
every
even go
race,
that-
in
you
every
can-
family.
Yeah, I was like, just go with the family. Think about how many times you wanted to take your sibling's head, slap off. Like,
Never.
shut up, girl. You thought you would,
Never.
and and if it wasn't for just the love of Jesus, okay.
All right.
So Kanye apparently has said that slavery was a choice. I'm just saying right now. He said, y'all need to see this thing here. She done passed out like somebody did. Like, you know how your grandmama passed out in church when she get the spirit? That's how she done passed out.
This coon, then coon. He done cooned his way. Just stop cooning.
Stop cooning. Stop cooning Kanye. Okay. And then he, another thing I didn't like that he did, he says that if they had put that dang on, if they had put Harriet Tubman on the
$20
currency,
bill.
he would have stopped using money and went to the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because he felt like all we're doing is like exploiting slavery and blah, blah. And George Washington's on the bill.
Well, you know what?
Ben Franklin is on the bill.
Kanye dumbass. I gotta say this. And then some people's like, he's got free thought. No, you don't have free thought. You're an idiot. Let's call idiots for what they are.
And that's what Van said.
We're talking about slavery, and it happened for 400 years because of the system.
Correct.
The system made sure that people stayed slaves.
That's right.
And the other part is, if you bucked the system, you were either killed, maimed, or beaten.
Right. And when you think about the system, it all stemmed just like the Civil War and everything else. Our kids nowadays don't even know. I mean, like, they have no point of reference. And so that's what, and it's like a fine line. Like, you think about, yes, you need to respect your history and know it because that's the only way you can grow. But you also have to understand that we've been at a disadvantage from the very beginning. So when he's talking about if I had a choice, do you think if they said, hey, the government, everybody's equal, everybody's free, which what it was established to, except that, they found a loophole.
Which is why the founding fathers failed us when they decided that all men were created equal, but not slaves.
Yeah.
And they failed black people. That's why America is so screwed up. Yeah. Because if all men are created equal, then no one owns another man.
Yeah.
But the problem with Kanye is with slavery. If these people did not endure slavery, there would be no Kanye West. He would not be entertaining white people. Mm-hmm. He would not be having a white wife. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't have biracial kids.
Well, there you go.
He wouldn't be making millions
Speaking
of dollars.
Of wives.
And then coming on TMZ with this ignorant ass thought. Thanks, slaves, for your dumb ass. And I wish every slave had died just so your ass wouldn't be on TMZ.
how you really feel, Keisha.
I mean, he's ignorant as hell. If it wasn't for slavery, you wouldn't be here doing what you're doing. Somebody suffered so your dumb ass could get on TMZ.
Because I promise you, listen, with all the money he is making and all the things he's doing in Jewish populations with rich people and all this type of everything, trust me, let him get out of pocket. They will remind him.
They've already reminded him by airing this shit.
Okay.
And then now they telling all of us, look at your boy Kanye. He's a hot mess.
Okay, so thinking about wives, Kevin Hart he had a friend who tried to blackmail him. And listen, tried to blackmail him with a video of him being with some other woman. He got ahead of it. He went on social media and actually went on and confessed to it and did what he needed to do. So the person could be subjected to up to $100,000 fine and spend about a year in jail. But the crazy thing about it is his wife came out and said, well, hello, that's the woman you with right now? You were cheating on her when we were together.
His ex-wife.
Ex-wife. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry, his first wife.
Yeah.
His starter wife.
No. But the thing about it is, for Kevin Hart, I know your friend did you dirty, but stop cheating. If you were not cheating, you wouldn't have got extorted.
Well, there you have it. Okay.
And guess what? Everybody ain't your friend. Y'all need to stop thinking everybody y'all friend.
Listen.
That's why I tell you, hey, this social media thing, stop acting like all your friends
Right, you got
on
5
social
million
media.
followers. You don't know 5 million.
And
okay.
they don't, 5 million ain't your friends. But go ahead.
So I just wanted to, on a good note with our pop culture, the one-handed football player.
Go, girl.
Shaquille, I think I'm going to jack his name up. His last name is Griffin. He and his brother both will be playing for the Seattle Seahawks. And when that boy, and just unbelievable. I've seen some of his tape and stuff of all the stuff he's done. And the only question I do have, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him on what he's earned, is that for him to go to Seattle, are they trying to get a comeback from Colin? You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, how they did Colin dirty and did all that kind of stuff with them taking this guy with this one hand and trying to do this thing. Are they trying to like bring their little image back? For the NFL, for that reason.
The NFL, let me speak on them as a whole. They are the new slave plantation organization. I'm going to say this because if you can't have your own personal feelings and be in the NFL, you can't control somebody's beliefs and thoughts. And for Colin Kaepernick to take a knee but still do his job, you can't tell him he can't take a knee. And the fact that they all actively decided not to take him back tells me that that's the slave mentality. You tell this black man, oh, you want to think for yourself? Right. We're going to tell you how you're going to think. And that's where I got to say, black people, I can't stand the dance and the shucking and jiving for $1. And Colin Kaepernick decided not to shuck and jive.
Put on blackface, huh?
He decided not to shuck and jive for $1. And guess what? All money.
Well, hold on now. He had been shucking and jiving for a minute now.
No, but I'm saying he took a knee. Yeah. When he started taking a knee and said, hey, this is more important. Unarmed black men are getting killed, and I'm out here toting the football. I can't care.
Right.
And it's something he cared about.
Yeah, I really admire him for that forever. He goes down in one of the hero books.
So
along with, what's his name? James Shaw. James Shaw Jr. Yeah, baby. He's another hero of the week.
This happened to me last year at my son's basketball team game. They were standing up for the national anthem.
Your son playing basketball? You telling people that? So now people can
I can tell them, but they don't know where.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking.
That was last year. He don't play anymore.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So he was playing basketball, and they stood up for the national anthem. I didn't. And my other two sons was like, why didn't you stand for the national anthem? And I told them why. I said, for unarmed black men. Until all men are considered equal, and you're not out here killing unarmed black men, then I'm gonna stay seated. And my sons was like, "Oh, that's a great idea. I'm gonna do that." Next game, anthem comes on, I stay seated, and they could not stand the pressure. They stood up. And this is the thing I need people to understand. You don't have to sit if it's something that's not passionate for you. That's fine. But for the Colin Kaepernick, that's his right to take a knee. Right. That was my right to stay seated. And I know why I was staying seated. And it was fine with me. I don't care if everybody in there stood, which everybody did, and I stayed seated. But that was my choice.
But the point you make about just the pressure,
Yeah,
our
the
children
pressure,
feeling,
They
to
didn't
conform
wanna-
and just, and not want to take that stand.
And I
That's
didn't
so
I
difficult.
didn't I didn't go get on them about that because
Yeah.
I could take it doesn't mean that they could.
Right. Okay, well, that fine freshman, Jesse Williams, his ex is back in court. He's so
Wait a minute, do
stinking
he look
cute
like
to me.
Samuel Jackson?
Oh, Jesus.
If he don't look like Samuel Jackson, he is not no
Oh,
fine
Lord Jesus.
specimen.
Anyway, his wife has taken him back to court.
She oughta.
She said that the $50,000 that he gives her a month is not enough. They have 2 small children that she is 100% responsible for, and it costs her $73,000 a month to care for those 2 children.
Girl. I hate to go against a sister. That black girl magic. Well, and I get, let me say this. I'm going to be a devil's advocate. Jesse Williams can't afford it. Let's say that. It's his kids. And she was his wife. So he can afford it.
So when you
we
say...
we got that out. He's $250,000 an episode. So it's not like he's going to be destitute paying the $73,000.
Wow.
I'm saying that. Now let me go to the other side. Girl, y'all divorced. Let the man go. Stop dragging this man in court about no extra $2.
Because probably if she go ahead and get her business, she can make her own millions and then let him deal what he needs to do. But I'm just saying, let him deal with the kids. Like the focus need to be a little bit different.
What I'm saying is she don't have to go to court. She could just tell him, hey, I need an extra whatever. He'll probably give it to her. You don't have to keep going through the court and trying to get his name through the mud. I don't know what's going on, but I'm saying right now you look like angry black woman.
Well, okay. I was just, my biggest thing was the fact that it was $73,000. And I get you're accustomed to a certain lifestyle or whatever. But you're getting 50 and now you need 73. And it's like, I know for a fact that you can raise 2 kids, even comfortably.
Girl, I ain't made $73,000 the last 10 years all together.
So I'm not saying you got to live, below your means, but I am saying be conservative with it. Because if it's cost you $73,000 just to keep your house afloat and to raise your children, then are you putting the savings away for them?
It's not costing her. It's an issue. She wants to aggravate him. And that's what I'm saying. Let the man go.
I will tell you. Anybody who listens to this episode, chime in. Hit us up on Facebook or Instagram, or a lot of y'all like calling and texting us and giving us your opinions, and we love that as well. But what do you think about this $73,000? So we'd love to hear from you. So
What's
let's
up,
go.
What's up,
Blacka? Oh, girl. Okay.
Tell it, City Keisha, because Country Keisha, I'm speechless.
Okay, so we have a white principal.
Did you say white?
She was white.
You said she.
What's
wrong with white women? What's wrong with white women? Go ahead.
They ain't got no magic.
Girl,
no, I'm teasing.
them.
Now, and I won't say, I will say that there are some that have apparently lost their magic.
Okay.
So,
they voted for Trump.
There's a white principal at Ponderosa Elementary School in Houston.
Right.
And there's a special needs black kid who runs. I guess he gets out and he'll run. They have to chase him down in the neighborhood or whatever. So she makes this joke and says, "We won't chase him."
Wait, don't call it a joke.
Okay, well, that's what she says. She makes this statement and says that we won't chase him. We will call the police and tell him he has a gun, and they'll come faster. So if you telling them that this kid has a gun and he's running and they're telling him to stop, what do you think the outcome is going to be? Right, so I couldn't have been that kid's mama. That's all I'm saying. Because she would have had to really tell him I had a gun.
How many black eyes she got?
Girl.
Was her lip busted?
Girl, because I don't play about mine. Okay?
And you think I play about mine? You know I don't. Let me say this to you, white principal at Ponderosa, whoever elementary school in Houston, Texas. This is why we got Black Lives Matter. This is why people are not being silent. This is why your Make America Great Again is completely insane.
Right.
Because this young black kid life matters.
It matters. And it ain't no joke. Because I want to, yes.
Child.
And also,
so special needs means you need to handle it special.
And let me tell you something. And I'll be very honest with you as an educator. Okay, Keisha? I know the type of kids that I teach. And I can deal with every bad kids you got. I mean, I can take them all, but it's hard.
My pastor used to say monsters. You
Okay.
raise monsters and you send them to school and they still monsters.
Well, but and I can handle that because a lot of times through with a little respect, some guidance, and some patience, they come through for me. Now, I know I struggle with kids who do have a lot of letters behind their name, when they have a lot of behavior problems and issues and
Yes.
stuff. But there are some amazing teachers, and at the school that I teach, there are a number of them as well who do a great job with them. I mean,
Yes.
like, had the patience of Job. And so I know God puts people on this earth to be able to handle those students.
Okay, wait. Are you trying to say this ain't her job? This ain't the
No,
position
you
for
ain't
her?
let me say
I'm saying
this.
it.
What I'm saying is, well, yeah, maybe
This
she needs
probably
to.
ain't the position for you.
Okay.
If you don't have any compassion for a special needs child
Yeah.
that you think calling the police and telling them they got a gun tells me that this not the job for you.
Correct.
We need compassion.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on past that because I mean I could be all
Well,
day with that.
yeah, because the lady head of education ain't got no compassion. Betsy, divorce.
Well,
whatever
let's
her
just
name.
see how she got a job. Come on, we ain't gonna go there. Okay, we'll be back at Trump for that. So there's a man. Now here's a good thing from Charlottesville. Remember that Charlottesville incident that went down
No,
with
tell
the
us, girl.
with the rally and the white supremacists.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
the thing that happened in Charlottesville.
About the takedown of the Confederate memorial.
Right, and a couple early part of this year.
When Trump said there were good people on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so apparently there was a white guy who beat the snot out of a black guy, and he did some damage to the boy's spine. He had a broken arm, and he had a lot of lacerations to his head. Well, the guy was convicted. He got
Really?
convicted, has spent 10 years in jail, and fined $20,000.
Hallelujah.
Do you think that's
Amen.
justice?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think he could have got more.
Well,
But I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this. But I also want to say this. I know he was crying. His life. They started doing all this stupid ass crying. What you crying for? Was you crying when you was attacking him?
no.
So this 10 years you got I'm not shedding not a tear in
No.
so long. Goodbye. I hope they rape your ass.
All right, we're not
Go
gonna
ahead.
wish that on nobody.
Yes, we do. In prison.
Oh.
Fair game.
Okay.
Since
That
he
was
big and
the-
bad and he could beat a black man out on the street,
Key.
let's see what he could do in prison.
I got it, Kate.
Y'all let me know. Hey, y'all listen to this podcast.
I'm not clapping your hand on that one. Get on out of here. Okay, so
Move from it.
we're gonna talk about to be or not to be.
Yes, to be or not to be. Is that Shakespeare question? That is the question.
Yeah, that is the
It
question.
was Shakespeare, girl. I'm smart.
Girl. So Blackish episode this past week was
Oh, it was so sad.
yeah. So we're not gonna give it away because some people may have devoed it. Is it TiVo or whatever it is? Recorded
That's
it.
their fault.
No.
Because this don't air
No.
this Saturday.
I get it.
Hey,
They be all
we
right.
don't
They
care.
be all right. They be all right. Stop. Don't do that. Anyway, it was the
Why she's talking
episode
to
that's
me like that?
broaching the idea of divorce.
It was
And
sad.
it was very intense. It was very
It was-
practical. Like
but
you
this
could see
supposed-
yourself relating to
But this
them and their situation and the whole thing that went down with them.
But this is supposed to be a comedy show.
It is.
But it was no comedy in this.
No, they've touched. No.
No, I'm saying, but they do have it around comedy. This is supposed to be like a 30-minute comedy.
No, because they deal with a lot of issues. They dealt with a lot
but
of different.
They've done it with comedy.
No.
Yes, they did.
Not every episode.
Girl, please. Anyway, I watch Blackish. I'm a fan. Black Jesus. What
So,
you think?
so
I get
your
White
opinion is the
Jesus?
only one that matter?
No.
Well, then
But
shut the hell
I'm
up. Like
only
I said,
speaking
they
on
do
my
talk.
opinion.
What I'm telling you, they do talk about issues that are not always comedic.
But they bring it back to something that makes you laugh.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying this episode there was nothing funny. It was really sad, and it was more of a drama.
There were some funny parts. That's why
What
they
was
did the
that?
back.
I ain't seen nothing
When they
funny.
kept doing the back.
It wasn't funny.
Okay, I'm sorry, because
It
you
was-
didn't think it was funny?
No, don't give him my opinion.
Okay.
It wasn't funny. It was sad.
All right, you done?
No,
Okay, well, go ahead.
I finished.
The hell up. Okay, so at any rate, the one thing that has been, I guess, kind of like a misnomer is that 50% of all marriages end in divorce. Well, they actually say that it kind of peaked at about 40% in the 1980s, and most women and men, 70% of women and men, get to 10 years in marriage before they even start to think
I
about
didn't
divorce.
make it to the
You weren't 10
I
years
was
married?
a 6, and one more year I'd have killed that bastard.
Okay. I cannot right now.
How about you make it to 10, you get alimony. What? You think I can make it to 10? I'm 10. I'm gonna get 25 to life. That's no damn alimony.
Somebody help me. See, this is what I had to deal with. But anyway,
I didn't make it.
Well, they said 80% of the women do. So your 20% would make it to 10 years in the pen. But anyway, so they're saying, and then there are probably about 56% of men and women that make it to 20 years. So not to say, and if you get to 20 years, there's a lot of people, because, you get that 7-year itch, you get that 10-year and then by the time you get to 20, you like, because by that time, just like on the episode with Black, because you're growing, and you're growing as a person, you're growing as an individual. So, and I always say this, naturally you're going to grow, and you're going to change, your thoughts going to change. But the thing is that person who you live in a house with, can you make room for them? Because you need to understand that you can grow and be who you are, give that other person some time to adjust to your changes, but still make room for them in your life. You don't have to push them out because you're changing. Because you never know. In their change, they're like, oh, I like this new change. But you don't even give them a chance to accept that or to grow into that because you think, oh, I'm a different person. That's it. They not satisfying my needs. They're not blah, 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 blah. But are you even having those conversations like we talked about at the top of the show? Where's the conversation? Where's that, hey, babe, you know what? I don't like that anymore. Or I feel myself doing this. If you're open and honest about that, because a lot of us try to be somebody who we're not in our 20s because that's just the way it goes. And then by the time we start figuring out that ain't working, you like, that ain't working for me. This is just who I am. And you're in a marriage, make room for your spouse.
Well, let me
give them the benefit of the doubt.
You're going to let me interject. Whatever. Anyway, so a few months ago, we were at one of our friends' house, and we were having this open discussion where that 20 minutes came in. We also were discussing about being friends. We've got a lot of marriages and a lot of couples who are not friends. They love each other, but they don't like each other. And that's where you got to get to where you like each other. So even if you're at a point where you're growing, but you still like the other person and you want to know what the other person is thinking.
But I think people...
Let me finish.
Okay,
look,
girl.
You had a 30-minute run.
Go.
What?
Go.
Okay. Country Keisha said, you got to be friends. You got to find out what you like. And you got to, that friendship and that likeness got to happen with the love. You can't just love somebody but don't like them. You got to like that person. In other words, it matters to me what you're thinking. It matters to me what you're doing. It matters to me on what you're doing. I want to be involved in a certain type of way. You don't have to be glued.
But you know what? I talked to a woman who, she was about in her 80s. This is about 10 or 15 years ago. I was, 5 years married at that point. And she said, because you always ask older people when you see them together and they've been married and they're over there cutting up. And I think I was either at a wedding or something like that. And I said, how'd you stay married for 50 years or for this year's? Well, she says, you know what? When I didn't want to be married, he did. And when he didn't want to be married, I did. And we gave each other that space to be able to just love on them in spite of. And that takes some unselfish, humble, really surrendering yourself to that marriage.
That's why I'm divorced.
Well, and I'm
tell you right now, when I don't want to be married, I ain't gonna be married.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, someone once told me, your marriage has to be bigger than you. Has to be bigger than that pair of shoes you want. Got to be bigger than that situation, and you got to know that because there's so many great things when you think about unity. That y'all got to be unified. Y'all got to come together.
Let's be honest, and there's some miserable things.
That's in life. Sometimes you're not happy with your own self, let alone. Okay, girl.
If I'm gonna be miserable, I'm not gonna be miserable with you. If you're making me miserable, I'm not gonna be miserable with you. I can be miserable by myself.
Okay.
And enjoy it.
So, dear future daughter-in-law, let's move on to the next section because you clearly see what's happening here.
I'm divorced. I don't even know why you even started this mess.
No, but don't get really.
That's why I'm divorced.
All right. Okay, we go.
I'm at 40 to 50%.
To be or not to be. That's what we talk about. Okay, so, dear future daughter-in-law, please have a few side hustles.
A few, girl. You know it. We hustle.
Because we just talked about marriage. There's going to be some ups and downs in it. We know we have raised amazing men. Yeah. But, everybody got their flaws. So you need to make sure you got some side hustle or what my granddad used to call mad money.
Well, mad money. And the thing is for women that honestly, I see more black women hustling out here than anything. And just, if you're a future daughter-in-law, we're thinking, don't just sit around thinking our boy's going to hold you down. We're telling you as black women, have your own hustle going.
Just women, period.
No, but I'm just.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know, but
We
they're.
black.
I get it, but you know, and I.
Women, period. But
Yeah, because a lot of
I
women,
hope
you
my-
get
I
so
hope
caught
my
up in
picture-
family and you get so caught up in everything else that you don't realize that, hey, you know what? You can lose yourself in that. And that husband could die. Or like you said, you can get divorced or anything. And you need to be able to handle your business. Okay. Black history. Hey, black child.
Hey, black child.
You can be what you want to be. Do what you want to do. Okay, so Trump apparently is thinking about pardoning a guy named Jack Johnson. And he was known as the Galveston Giant. He was a world-renowned boxer, and in 1913, he was arrested for traveling across state lines with his girlfriend, who was a white woman. And they charged him with what they called the Mann Act. It hadn't even passed yet, but they had charged him with it.
Key to the story is stop messing with these white women.
He was married, and this was during the Jim Crow era. He had been married 3 times to 3 different white women. That
Them
was
wasn't
just
even
crazy.
legal.
So anyway, so they're trying to
Biracial marriages wasn't even legal. Go ahead.
Yeah. You got Cory Booker, you got Greg Meeks out of Chicago, the U.S. representative, you got McCain. A lot of people have been really pushing for him to get pardoned. Even though he's, been deceased, they just felt like, let's just right that wrong. And that's just crazy how the things they choose to right the wrong. You know what I'm saying? But when we start talking about righting wrongs or taking down, monuments and doing things like that, it's a whole nother story. But okay. All right, go ahead with your finance piece this week, Miss Key.
Well, you didn't want me to talk about Jack.
Go on, country, Keisha.
Okay. Why she getting loud? Do you see the people act like this? All right, finances. Now is the time to educate our children on finances. If you were thinking, when should I do it? Now. Are they 2 years old, 3-year-olds? It doesn't matter. You do what they can learn.
Yeah, those Christmas accounts.
Yeah, those Christmas accounts. What I used to do when I was giving out baby shower gifts that I don't do anymore, is I used to give out piggy banks to start the saving process. I just feel like the earlier you start saving, the better. And to teach your kids how to save and to teach them the importance of saving for something and getting it that way instead of just asking for it and mom and daddy buy it. You want this item, let's save. Every time you do a little job and we pay you some money, you put it in that fund to turn around and buy it because it teaches them of the value of $1 and how hard it is to earn it to get what you want. Because this thing of just giving them stuff, they don't understand that you did a lot of work to get that money.
Yeah.
It's a total disconnect. And that's some of the stuff we're seeing with this was just in the news today about a girl who was crying that her parents broke her allowance from $5,000 a month, which is $60,000 a year, to $1,000 a month. She said they were being very unfair.
Wow.
$1,000 a month allowance.
And can I say the word?
Yeah.
Entitled. Okay.
And you want to say entitled?
Yeah.
I want to say her parents are stupid as hell.
Well,
what is wrong with you parents? Why are you giving a child $5,000 a month to do what? To do what? Buy clothes? If you want to just give your money away, just
to
give
grow
it away.
up and then want $73,000 and okay, sorry.
No, that woman worked and she married that man. Them they children.
Well, how you know her parents wouldn't give?
I don't know, but I'm saying this her husband
My bad.
and her children, not her husband that she got to raise both their children.
All right, go back to your finances.
Go back to finances. The finances is that we need to teach our kids that money does not grow on trees. It takes work to get money. And on top of that, you need to be financially responsible. So don't start when they're teenagers talking about financial responsibility. You start young. And I had 2 of the young kids that I work with. I'm calling them young kids, but they were in their 20s. And one was a young girl who she was early 20s, and she was saying how she saved her money. And then the other one was a young guy who was talking about how he was going to spend this and do this. And I sat down with them and had a conversation with them. And just to discuss that, it's very important to not want to buy new stuff and this and that. Some things you can rent. Some things you can save.
No. Go ahead.
What you mean no?
No. What if you're the type of person that don't like to rent stuff?
What if your pocketbook says you can rent? What if
Why
the
would you rent
Because you could be
instead
house
of-
poor. Because you can spend all your money on the house and not have nothing for nothing else.
You can spend all your money on rent and have nothing for nothing else.
But you can.
Why rent? Why pay someone else for their property when you can own your own?
Are you a financial expert or you?
Well, I don't agree with you with that one, financial expert. Go ahead.
You don't have to agree with me. I'm trying to tell you there's a value in renting. There's a value in renting when it comes to what you're spending and what you're buying.
Okay.
So, and I mean, it's the thing about what you're going to do. If you're going to throw all your money into something, then you need to know what you're throwing it into.
Now, I will agree with you when it comes down to vehicles, because I have found that leasing a vehicle, especially those who you don't travel a lot and you don't do a lot of road traveling with, sometimes those leased vehicles could benefit you better, especially if you like new vehicles every 3 or 4 years or whatever.
That's the benefit. If you want to trade out like a purse, then lease, because it doesn't make sense to get talking like you buying a car and you keep trading it in.
Yeah, totally depreciate. You burn it to the money.
You're just wasting money.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about in my educational piece. I was going to talk about one thing, but I want to kind of change it up a little bit. And I wanted to share this quick story of just how I realized what I was doing to my own child. And I remember I had to tell him, go in there and clean your room, go in there and clean your room, go in there and clean your room. And I find stuff up under the bed, and I find stuff packed in here and packed in there and packed there. And, he's the only child, he grew up with his cousin, but, the only child I had. And so I realized that I was always out buying him stuff and getting him this, da-da-da-da-da-da. And he'd have that room so packed with all kind of things to where I was sabotaging. I was making it almost impossible for him to clean up his room because he had too much stuff. So one year before before we went back to school, I said, okay, sit down. We're going to try out every single thing. We're going to, things you like, things you don't like. And I had shared this before with you guys, but we went through that whole thing, and at the end he says, okay, these are the things that I like, these are the things that are too small, this is what I need. And so instead of us spending $700 for going back to school, we may spend $150. I say that as just one part. My other part is you tell your kids when they're being ungrateful, like say if they don't finish their food or if they ask you for something, they can't find it or they throw something away. And I realized that I was doing the same thing, fussing about that. But then I put that into action because I went out and I was like, okay, we're going to pack up some stuff and some supplies and go and give this to the homeless. You're going to go to these food drives, and you're going to see in this card line there are kids who you go to school with who parents don't have this. So what I did was expose him to a lot of community service projects to show him that there are people that live different ways. I mean, he sat and talked to homeless people who have told him the story. Hey, man, when I was 17, I was a star baller, did this, and this. I need you, And so a lot of that stuff kept him humble and kept him grounded and made him realize that, hey, you know what? I need to get my, make sure that I'm just but one paycheck or one bad choice away from being, doing the wrong thing. And so it's the same thing with their academic goals. It's like, instead of you saying, go to school, do your work, you realize what your kids are good at and the things you go with. You provide them the support that they need. If that means that maybe you're not good at math, but your best friend is, or if you got to go up to school to make sure he's going to tutoring, or if you have to leave work a little bit earlier so he can go to tutoring on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you do what you have to do. So as you're providing this real roundedness for this kid, when it's time for him to start really making his own decisions outside of you, those decisions that they make, those things are grounded in them. Like they talk about it, raise up a child in which they should go and they won't depart from it. So I think that when you look at how you're raising your kid, when you look at the choices you're giving them, don't sabotage them because you're overcompensating them and putting them into this sense of entitlement. Or you want to, I remember one time he told his dad, he was like, Dad, why do you, I'm not that type of kid. So his dad was doing certain things because that was just how he was raised, but it wasn't working for him because he was a different type of kid. So get to know your children and make those adjustments. I'm not trying to say throw away all the discipline or the goal or the moral settings that your parents may have instilled in you, but you were a different kid and it was a different time. So make those adjustments and spend that time actually thinking about it. Just the same way when you want to make a promotion on your job or when you want to do some other things personal for yourself, you research it. When you buy a new car, when you do all those type of things. So just do some research on your kids. Provide those opportunities for them that make them people who are outstanding citizens that do amazing things that you can be proud of.
Thank you, City Keisha, for that educational piece. Girl, you better tell it, work with your children. Ain't nobody got time for that. What we ain't got time for, City Keisha?
We ain't got time for sisters who are lacking self-confidence.
Let's build them up, sisters. Let's build them up.
Self-confidence is sexy as hell. You better know it, baby.
The world does that to us, though. The world tells us.
Think about this. You walk into a room You ever felt like, man, can't nobody tell you nothing that have
I always
confidence
feel like
doing
that.
I know.
So,
And you walk into, I mean, and that confidence that you bring there. I've been finding lately there are so many young girls who don't have self-confidence, women who don't have, I mean.
but there's a reason,
But it's
Keisha.
sex.
But no,
Yes,
no.
huh?
I'm saying there's a reason because society tell us that black and nappy ain't cute. Society tell us that black and brown ain't cute.
Well, they do the same thing to the white women too. Like talk about all women.
They don't do the same thing for the white women. White women see more white people in different shapes, different sizes, different color hair.
No,
different
I have to
colors,
disagree with you with that.
No, we don't.
And the reason why because we're just looking at the Miss America contest. When you just look at that, it's predominantly white. And them same people who are in there judging them, or even Donald Trump himself, if you didn't have the blonde hair, if you wasn't this, because I got a lot of friends that are teachers and educators that are amazing women that don't fit that blonde hair, weigh 100 pounds, and do all this kind of and work out and zero body fat.
Have you seen advertisement? Have you seen advertisement?
I think that's being unfair.
No. That is fair because when you
being unfair to all women.
What we've been perpetrated as is that if you're beautiful, you don't look like us. And that's what we're talking about.
But I'm telling you that there are white women that feel the same way because they don't fit.
That so that's why we're talking about the black women. I'm telling you the reason they lack self-confidence is because they're not shown that we are what we are. It's a disproportionate value when it comes to the way we look. It's always been considered a negative. And we're already behind the white women because I don't have straight hair.
I just don't want you to like generalize and just say white women because
but
even
you just generalized and said that we don't have confidence. You just generalized and saying that we don't have confidence as black women, and I have confidence. I have confidence. Okay. So, but I do. This is one of the things that I do as a black woman.
This is when you start not listening to me.
That I'm trying to get a point.
Because when I said sisters, I meant it didn't have to be
generalizing
women. I'm calling all of them my sisters. I didn't say sister. I said sisters. So all of them. I have women that are not black that I consider my sisters. I'm just saying.
You don't have to. You could.
Okay, so that's
what I was gonna say is that
it's
I take it. I make it my personal. My personal.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
No. I make it my personal business to actually build up when I see them because I know that because we are so hard on ourselves. Mm-hmm. Me and you sat here talking about our fat bellies, but what did I tell you?
No, we didn't. You talked about your fat belly.
No, you talked about yours. No. You said you don't like yours.
No, I said I was going to get lipo. Mine,
but you said you did not like yours.
But I didn't say fat belly. I didn't say fat belly. You use that term.
But that's fine. But I'm saying, but you were very critical of your body.
Yes.
And that's the thing that I'm saying about us. And what did I tell you today?
But that don't break my self-confidence. So that's what we're talking about. Me wanting to see something different.
Let me finish my thought.
Girl, please
hurry up. We are
very
critical of ourselves. And what I told you today is we're not as big and we're not very big women. Yes, we got bodies that need some work, but we're not very big women. So guess what? Don't beat yourself up.
Okay, I get it. Thank you. All right, the last ain't nobody got time for it because I really ain't got time for you right now is frenemies. You have to be very careful because I promise you there are so many social media outlets where people get on there and act like they're your friends, including those. And we were just talking about this. We calling them haters.
Like them.
You know, like people who have even just kind of clowned us about our podcast. Like, you know, always got something negative to say.
Don't be talking about them haters. Oh, talk about them. I like them. That's fine. And listen, frenemies, hey, I love you. Come on with it. But let's go back to what we ain't got time for. Ain't nobody got time for injustice. Ain't nobody got time for prejudice. And we ain't got time for intolerance. Unless you want to be compassionate and kind and loving, we ain't got time for it.
Well, I'll tell you this. Till next time.
From the outhouse
to the penthouse. We out.
Two different point of views with the same name.
Stop. What their name is?
Keisha and Keisha. Keisha and Keisha.